Hi everybody, I'm Norik. I'm from Kosovo, Pristina. I'm a professional photographer now for 7 years. I will give a very good interview now today for Metdaan. I'm also part of Metdaan, so you're gonna see my face for a longer time, I think, in the future. One of my favorite photographers, and still favorite photographers, is a woman. Her name is Jill Greenberg. She's a commercial photographer, but an amazing one. One of her first work, which I found on internet, was the little children crying, and I heard also her interviews how she explained how she gave them lollipops and then took the lollipops back and like children cried, and she grasped that moment, those tears, those innocent tears, and her pictures were amazing. I mean, they speak for themselves. The way she did those pictures really captured me and made me think how she did them, because at the time when she did them, the commercial photography was in, but not at such quality, especially with children. So she made me think of what did she do, what type of light, what did she use. And lucky to me, she's very exclusive, and she gives all the information online, so I could find all the data of how she works and what she does. And I was very happy the way she explained everything. And ever since then, she's inspired me to start working with children, which was one of my first projects. And I realized that with children you can do amazing photos, and it's one of the most beautiful things to work with. So ever since now, today, I still am working with children, and they're always amazing. My style of photography is emotions. I love to do portraits. Portraits are one of my favorite part of photography. Getting people's quality portraits is very hard. Getting people faces is very hard, because it is also something with their soul. So I try my best to reach out in their soul and get their best emotion, so they bring out the best emotion in the picture. One of my favorite painters is Modigliani, or Modigliani, I don't know how it's exactly spelled, but he was a painter which painted people, but he never painted their eyes. He always painted their eyes only if he recognized their soul. So he's a rare artist who gave the soul through the eyes. And I have the same feeling that every time I want to do a picture, it always has to do with eyes. So if eyes are okay, then they give me the spirit of a person. So it's like eyes are mirror to the soul, and in my opinion, portraits are like that. If they have a good eyesight, if they have a good emotion through eyes, then you get a great picture from it. I started doing photography, professional photography, by kind of an accident. We were in a family gathering and there were a lot of other topics discussed. I had my camera with me because I was doing some product photography for some friend, and because I didn't want to discuss those political topics, I decided to take all the family children which were there, and I started doing their portraits. I did a lot of pictures of them playing, and I gave the pictures to my cousins, not knowing that they will be published at that time in Facebook. And then the reaction was very big, because everybody asked who did these pictures, and people kept calling me, and after a while it just became a lot of people calling me more and more through Facebook. I have reached hundreds and thousands of people, and ever since then I never stopped doing photography anymore. I stopped my previous professions and I dedicated my life to photography. The most important thing which I would explain to myself is high-speed flashes. It is something which I wasn't familiar with, because there was nobody to teach it here. Now I use flashes very much, and especially with high speed. Because I was using flashes with batteries, and these flashes only were without high speed, I used a lot of ND filters to get the depth of field as good during the daylight. Now I'm very comfortable with the new flashlights which I have, which give me a tremendous great power in controlling. So I wish I have told myself how to find and use these flashes, but again, these flashes with batteries are kind of a discovery for these last 3 years. So it's not that I was so late, because they came back in the market and now they're very useful. I love to express love. I love to express happiness. I love to express enjoyment. I love to express beautiful things on them. Everything which is nice in the world, I like to put it in my pictures, because we are filled with a lot of fake and bad news which come to us every day and burden ourselves a lot, and it is something that people shouldn't be bothering with, but they do bother every day. So with my pictures I try to remove that type of emotion. I try to bring only happiness, at least for 5 minutes. Sometimes a lot of people write me, they say that they can't wait for me to post so they can feel better because they love what I do, and this is such an amazing emotion. So I'm happy to deliver it every day. Beauty is something very inner. I know I'm familiar with the beauty for photography. That is something different. That is what I call photogenic. But the real beauty is something from inside. My best pictures didn't come from the most beautiful people, as calling them most beautiful in the photogenic way. They came from people which were just ordinary, without a photogenic face. They were just beautiful moments, giving the best from themselves, giving the best from their inside. And when I got that outside so people can see it and perceive it, then it is that time when my pictures became very famous and they took a lot of engagement. So for me, beauty is the white spirit of a person, the spirit which is very clear, very clean, very honest, very straightforward. This beauty is the best beauty I always want to work with, and I will repeatedly work with. One of my favorite projects was last year in Japan. I met an extraordinary soul. Her name is Veronica. She's a model. She's not just a model, she's also an artist, because she can paint, she can draw. She's also applying to be an architect. So we worked together a lot of fashion pictures with her. It's so easy and engaging to have a person who knows exactly what you want and knows how to deliver it to the max and gives the best of her. So that project gave me a lot of amazing pictures. We also collaborated and cooperated with some fashion designers back in Tokyo, and we brought some pictures also with kimono, which is very cute. This kimono, her name is Sals, and she created some great kimonos which are different, more modern, and we brought very cute pictures. Tokyo is so beautiful that it gives you an option to do 100 types of pictures and 100 types of ideas, because it is very versatile. It is traditional, modern, super modern, extreme modern, then it goes back to tradition again, then it goes back to classic. So you have a lot of ways and a lot of places to take pictures of. Its nature is amazing also. It's old culture. It's so inspiring that every good artist will recognize and try to bring it out in the picture as much as they can. My drive for photography never stops. I was very afraid when I started to do it. I thought that I'm gonna be very I'm gonna be, how to say, dried. I won't have any more ideas, but every day I get to have more and more ideas. Like creativity is something which is just growing, it just grows. It's like a big universe, and in that universe you find hundreds and millions of ideas. Now I'm driven by thousands and thousands of photographers who are growing every day, who do creative and great job. Thanks to Instagram now, which is one of the main applications to see a lot of creative work, I get to see a lot of amazing people. And since I'm never satisfied with myself, I'm never satisfied with my work, I always like to do better and do better and better, and this drives me to work more. I always think that my pictures are not good, and people always tend to tell me the opposite, but I'm just very big critic to myself. And I was told by astrologer that this is my my weakest point in character, but my best point in giving out the best, because he told me that because of that I'm never satisfied, so I try harder and harder, and I try my best. I try to evolve in picture. I try to go better. I experiment a lot, and this brings out the best out of me. I have just recently created my big studio, which is, I own it. It is around 600 meters square, and I have been working very hard to deliver it. Now it's almost finished. My future projects are, I want to deliver very creative pictures from my studio, and also every year, especially 2019, I'm invited in a lot of photography events around the world. So I'm going to be moving and traveling a lot and experiencing a lot of beautiful cultures. The more I travel, the more I learn about the cultures and the people, the more my perspective broadens. So my intention is to be always on top of a picture, always on trend. So I'm working towards that. I'm working on upgrading and updating myself all the time, since photography is very fast forwarding, and the technology is moving in such a path that you have to be very careful, because now a lot of options are allowing us to go faster in the process. We had to press 5 buttons, now you press 1. So this is helping, but again, it's very killing it, because you have to be updated all the time, and it takes a lot of more. It's like being a doctor. All the medicine is always updating, so you have to know everything what is happening in the medicine world. And my big projects will be a little bit of surprise, but I must say that I'm going to tackle also my own culture, which hasn't been presented to the opinion before. I think I have a great idea how to present our culture, and I think the world will be familiar with our new, with the old people of Europe, which have a great history and a great culture. So see you soon.